All right, music fans, welcome. Harmless Dave here, talking real music in real time for just a few real people out there, really, just like you and just like me. Actually, we went over 60K. Just happened when I wasn't really paying attention, so I want to thank everybody. It's really going to frustrate some people in chat rooms for some reason, but here we are at 60K and climbing. Thank you so much to everybody. Here's Hydra. Okay, Point Break is the name of this album. I continue to promote new stuff, new melodic music. This, courtesy of Frontiers, sounds a bit like Toto, but definitely has its own vibe. The first single called Stop the Madness, which I think has some implications to what's been happening in the world the last 2.5 years. A bit of a hybrid between Europe and Toto. The band is from Sweden. They're really cool. A lot of people sent me messages back saying, hey, thanks for the recommendation. So we continue to plug some new material, even though there's some great older bands out there still making great music. One of those bands is the Fixx, ladies and gentlemen. The Fixx, yeah, one thing leads to another. That's the only tune you'll hear on rock stations. You won't hear Stand or Fall. Actually, these are classic rock. You know, we just pay attention to Billboard. That's all we do. The Fixx had so many great songs back in the 80s. And they actually hit #1 on rock stations, I believe, in 1989 with a tune called Driven Out, which you won't hear anywhere, even though it went to #1. And that was some good marketing by their new record label at the time, RCA. MCA Records, really, they were devoted to Tom Petty and Tiffany back in the day, and so you just didn't get a lot of support if you were on that record label. But the Fixx released Shuttered Room, which was amazing. Stand or Fall, one of my favorite all-time songs. Just so atmospheric. Jamie West Oram, their guitar player, a beast, a total unique player, has his own sound, does his own thing, created this sort of progressive sound that, you know, some people might compare it to U2 or some other bands that were around at the time. But really, the Fixx, they were kind of their own thing, and they continue to be their own thing. Lead singer Cy Curnin, really brilliant. I probably don't align with Cy Curnin politically speaking, okay? A bit like the Roger Waters scenario. However, Cy Curnin asks a lot of deep, profound questions, and then he puts that to music. And the result, it's really some very cerebral and kind of above the fray lyrics and music to match it. This band is still the same band. They've released a new album, and a lot of people, of course, don't even know or care. The album, which came out back in June, is called Every 5 Seconds. And from what I understand and from what I've read, the critics are really digging this album, as they always did when it came to the Fixx. You've got Jamie West Oram playing guitar, Cy Curnin on vocals, Dan K. Brown on bass guitar, and Adam Woods on drums. I was fortunate enough back in the old days to actually hang out with this band and see them perform live. I'm not sure what album that was. Probably not Shuttered Room. It was probably later on. It might have been Reach the Beach, which is, you know, like their signature, their big album supposedly. But this band, I got to tell you, they have so much great material. They were such an MTV band too. People don't remember how big they were on MTV. Even their less consequential radio singles did really well on MTV via their well-done videos. So again, the album is out there. It's called Every 5 Seconds. I've listened to it. It's amazing because it really is the Fixx in the year 2022, sounding a lot like the Fixx in 1982. It's pretty breathtaking. these guys tend to be a bit ageless. Their style hasn't changed. They haven't, you know, updated their sound in order to please anybody. They're still playing that same progressive, melodic, and intriguing music that they've played since the very beginning. And a band, by the way, that deserves probably a little bit more credit when it comes to shaping the music of the 80s and also just creating their own sound. Do I think they're Rock and Roll Hall of Fame worthy? Yeah, I kind of do. I kind of do, because they were very influential. You know, some people say, look, Cy Curnin is trying to be David Bowie, but he's definitely got his own thing. He's not as theatrical as Bowie. All of these guys are more subdued. This is a team effort. This isn't one guy trying to steal the spotlight over another guy. And maybe that might have been the problem with the Fixx. They were kind of nameless and faceless. Although in the 80s, if you didn't know who Cy Curnin was, you probably weren't paying attention, because he did get a lot of press and a lot of publicity. And the fact that these guys are still around and still putting out really good, relevant music is just a testament to how good they are as a band. And again, Cy Curnin continues to ask good questions. Whether you agree with his questions or his conclusions, that's another thing. I hate to make everything about politics, but it drives me crazy when bands just think that you can't be part of what they do because you don't line up with them politically. That's how bad things are nowadays, where you've got Roger Waters, who I agree with on some things, but basically telling people, hey, if you don't like politics, you better, you know, leave and go to the bar and have some beer and just not attend this show because we don't want you here, which is really weird, really crazy. I don't agree with that attitude on either side of the equation. You need to listen to people, hear them out, and not be hostile to them because they don't think like you think. I'm not too fond of this whole Brave New World concept. But in any event, check out this brand new album by the Fixx. It's called Every 5 Seconds. Do I think there's a war on the music of the Fixx? Absolutely. Just even the Reach the Beach album, Saved by Zero. When's the last time you've heard Saved by Zero? There's this extended version that I love, which just takes that instrumental break and extends it further. And a band that used keyboards so effectively, just amazing when you listen to the keyboard sounds. And that's courtesy of the amazing Rupert Greenall, who is the keyboard player and who just adds so much texture and depth to the music of this band. And again, it's absolutely terrific that they're still around, and they're pretty well preserved guys. They've got to be all, I would say, maybe late 50s, low 60s as far as age, and they look and sound fantastic, and you should check their new stuff out. You probably didn't know they had new stuff out there. And very little press, too. You have to kind of dig around to find any news on the Fixx. All right, that's my video on the Fixx. One more time on this band, Hydra, Point Break. Doesn't really sound like the Fixx, just saying, but new stuff, and we have to continue to promote the new stuff and the bands that continue out there who are still really good, who sound good, who play well. The Fixx certainly qualifies. If you've not seen some of their clips from recent years, they still sound terrific live. They were all just always an amazing live band. I, again, had dinner with these guys or something. I can't remember because it's so long ago. And then I watched them perform, and they just blew people away. They were just so good. So there you have it, the Fixx, and Dave getting your Fixx for information. Done. All done. See you soon.